Hey YouTube, what's going on? Jason Dragon Bane here, and we're going to talk about the new Fire King deck. Now this deck's coming out here in the next couple of months, and it's been getting quite a bit of play on Dueling Network all of a sudden. And that's truly because of their boss monster, Fire King High Avatar Garunix. Now if you don't know what this guy does, it's pretty much if he's destroyed by a card effect, he special summons during the next standby phase. So during your opponent's own standby phase, it comes back, nukes the field of all monsters. So these guys are... Garunix is almost way too good for this day in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if you can get a loop going with these guys, they just nuke the monsters every standby phase. And you could potentially just do major pluses off of all this, because all these guys love to be destroyed by either card effect or just being destroyed. So the thing with this deck also is they've got amazing support right out of the gate with two of their monsters, and the third one's okay. So yugioh is, when it's destroyed, you can just destroy one card on the field. So maybe if you have Garunix on the field, destroy it, or one card in your hand. Again, if Garunix is in your hand, destroy it from your hand. Oh, it's destroyed by a card effect. Next standby phase, it comes out. Their other one is a great search card in Barong, because when he's destroyed by a card effect, you can search out any Fire King card you have in your deck and add it to your hand. So that's potentially you can add one of these four monsters or one of the two magics. So their third monster isn't very used a lot. You might see one or two of them, and that's just because when he's destroyed, you send a fire monster from your deck to the graveyard. Alright, but these guys have some amazing fire support right out of the gate in their magic cards. So one is Fire King's Fire Ring. You destroy a fire monster on the field, on your side of the field, special summon one out of your graveyard. So you can essentially destroy Barong and get Garunix out of the graveyard. Next standby phase, get Barong's effect. Now, the one that seems overpowered in a lot of people's mind is Onslaught of the Fire Kings. So this one is, if your opponent controls a monster and you don't special summon a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast type monster from your deck, its effect's negated and it's destroyed during the end phase. Well, this is a free Fire King High Avatar Garunix right out of your deck. It's destroyed during the end phase. It doesn't matter that its effects negated, guys, because none of their effects resolve on the field. That they don't give a care about their effects being negated. So you play this, he comes out, you potentially run over a monster, next standby phase, it comes back again and nukes all the monsters. These two cards are amazing in this deck, but they could also be used in any fire deck pretty much. That's what I'm happy to see these about, is it's just generic fire support that we could use. But another part about these guys is, if you look at yugioh and Barong, they're both Beast Warriors. So they have the possibility of using the Fire Fist support cards like Tenki and Tensen. That's where this deck truly, in my mind, is getting very good, guys, is they can use so much fire support that hasn't gotten a chance to really even shine yet. And now, if we also look, they all have 200 defense except for Garunix. So anytime you see a fire monster with 200 defense, you know Rekindling is going to be there. It's not a game changer like it is with the Lavels. They can't pull Quasar, they can't pull Red Nova, but they can just do some rank 4 XZ monsters and go and either build a wall or get around something potentially. Rekindling, not a bad option. These guys can also use fire support cards that came back even way before the Synchros, like Sacred Phoenix of Natellas and Goka here. So Phoenix is during your next standby phase after it's destroyed by a card effect, it comes back and nukes all the spells and traps. So between Garunix and Phoenix, you can have potentially every other standby phase of Heavy Storm and Dark Hole in one. Because what you do is you just go, okay, Garunix effect during the standby phase, chain Phoenix, Phoenix comes out, nukes the backfield. If there's anything they wanted to save for Garunix, they now either have to waste it on Nephilus or let it go. Then Garunix comes out, destroys Phoenix, during your next standby phase, same thing happens. So then there's also Goka, who sets up this deck pretty well. Because if you control a fire monster, you can just special this guy out, and then destroy one fire monster you control. So that potentially lets yugioh and Barong go beautifully. They get their effects for pretty much allowing you to summon a 2200 monster. It's a wonderful card in this deck. So then you can also use Enthusiast, Beastman, Wolfberg, because these two are Beast Warriors. So this just makes more generic rank 4. Now, Destruct Potion and Generation Shift, it's just a few other little cards I've seen a few people run. They're not bad. Now, onto the reason why this deck may seem so overpowered is because cards that have become so staple over the past few formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't work on this deck. Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning have become so staple in all decks, and it's like, oh, you're going to pull Quasar. I can Solemn that. It's now stopped everything you try to do. Well, these guys don't care about Solemn. They absolutely almost laugh at these two cards. Because, oh, Garunix comes out. Oh, I'm going to Solemn Warn that. Okay, next standby phase. Garunix is back. You just paid 2,000 life points to stop this guy for a turn. You have to OTK your opponent before that Garunix comes back out. Because they're destroying them through a card effect. So even staples like Mirror Force, Torrential, Dark Hole, it slows them down for maybe a turn, if not. If even that, really. So then there are options to stop this deck, but like automatically Marcos Cosmos and D Fissure will wreck this deck. It's already staple what's going to stop this kind of deck. It's been found through the novels and all other fire decks pretty much right now that if you Marcos Cosmos or D Fissure, it has a lot more trouble running. But if your deck can't run with a D Fissure or a Marcos, there are other options to stop this deck, like Bottomless, Dimension, Compulse. Now, Bottomless, you really gotta try and save for Garunix. If you can Bottomless a Garunix, it's a very good game move right there, because now they have to get that other Garunix to their hand and get it back destroyed before they can start nuking everything again. Deep Prison is a very good card too, unless they have Phoenix going with it. Because if they get Phoenix going and it starts nuking all your back row, Deep Prison is not going to help you. Compulse is a good option just to slow them down. It's like, oh, Garunix is coming, let's Compulse him. So unless they have Yaksha in their hand, then Compulse is a good option. But if they have Yaksha, yeah, they don't really care that Garunix is in the hand because they'll just get him destroyed through Yaksha effect. Now, Dark Smog and Sealing Ceremony this is mainly what you can run in Dark Worlds. This is what you can run in a different fire deck to try and slow these guys down. So guys, tell me what you think about this deck. Is it going to be topping YCS? Is it too overpowered? What do you think Konami should do to try and make this deck maybe a little bit more fair to play? So thanks guys, rate, comment, and subscribe.